Caitlin Clark left Shaq speechless after her dominance. https://www.youtube.com/watch. B. Tosia T. Sacinco? B. Kuei T equals 51s. Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive in the WNBA, she exploded onto the scene, with the spotlight shining bright and pressure mounting from every direction. She didn't just meet the moment, she crushed it. In just a few months, Clark has rewritten what it means to be a rookie. She's broken records, injected life into a struggling franchise, and sparked a powerful resurgence in women's basketball that's crossing age groups and drawing in brand new fans. This isn't just a breakout, it's a cultural moment. What Caitlin's doing isn't hype, it's history unfolding in real time. Even some of her harshest critics are coming around. Sports analysts, influencers, basketball vets, and, yes, even internet skeptics are finally giving her the credit she deserves. And one of her loudest supporters now, none other than Shaquille O'Neal, known for his larger-than-life personality and sharp takes on inside the NBA. Shaq has never been shy about speaking his mind. He's been closely watching the evolution of the women's game, and much of that interest has been fueled by the electric rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. As a proud LSU alum, Shaq has long championed Angel. He followed her college journey closely, especially her iconic showdown with Caitlin during the 2023 NCAA championship. At one point, Shaq even declared Angel Reese the greatest player to ever come out of LSU, placing her above himself and even the legendary pistol, Pete Maravich. That's no small statement from a four-time NBA champion and former league MVP even. Angel was caught off guard by that level of praise. But now, as Caitlin Clark continues to dominate the WNBA and elevate the sport with every game, even Shaq appears to be rethinking where true greatness lies.
Yeah, Shaq told me that I was the best player to come out of LSU. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like I haven't done any.
Shaquille O'Neal once gave Angel Reese the ultimate praise, calling her the best player to ever come out of LSU. For Reese, it was both an honor and a heavy weight to carry, but she didn't just live up to the hype, she made history. While legends like Shaq and Pistol Pete Maravich brought fame to LSU, it was Reese who brought home the school's first NCAA basketball championship. That groundbreaking win, combined with the NCAA's new NIL era, catapulted her into stardom. Even before graduating, Reese signed a headline-grabbing shoe deal, not with giants like Nike or Adidas, but with Reebok. That move wasn't just bold, it was meaningful. Reebok is on a comeback trail and leading the charge in their basketball division, none other than Shaq himself. The partnership turned into something more than business. With Shaq as a mentor, Reese has been gaining more than just endorsement deals. She's getting guidance from one of the game's greats. He's offering advice on everything from hoops to handling the spotlight. Determined to help her avoid the missteps he once made, Shaq's support isn't new, he's been one of Reese's biggest believers for years. Now, he's helping her lay the foundation for a career that's built to last, both on the court and far beyond it.
I was just, telling her how to handle adversity, how to handle, controversy. And, with a person like her, you don't really want to come and say, do this and do that. I was just coming and, giving her encouraging words, just telling her, to
Reese may be a rising WNBA star, but there's always been one giant figure in her corner, Shaquille O'Neal. From her college days at LSU to the start of her pro career, Shaq has been a vocal supporter, never shy about praising her potential. Before her rookie season even began, he was one of the first to publicly call her a future star. Backing has always been respectful and professional. He's a longtime champion of women's basketball, and his admiration for the game's growth has been clear. But when it came to Reese, he made things personal, showing up courtside at Chicago Sky games, rooting for her like a proud mentor. With Reese leading Reebok's New Wave and Shaq steering the brand's basketball division, their bond wasn't just heartfelt, it was strategic. That's why his recent comments turned heads. After a buzzy showdown between Reese and Caitlin Clark that ended in a dominant Indiana fever victory, Shaq's tone shifted. Still honest, still respectful, but different. For the first time, it sounded like he was conceding the spotlight. She does everything right, Shaq said of Clark. Then came the moment that caught everyone's attention. Angel is my girl, he emphasized. But I can truthfully say, Clark is for real. Coming from a man who's shared the court with legends like Kobe, LeBron, and Wade, that kind of praise hits hard. And Shaq didn't stop there. He broke it down. Clark makes the smart decisions, handles pressure like a pro, and never lets the moment get too big. She's a great one, he said. She's the real deal. Shaq knows greatness when he sees it. And while his loyalty to Angel Reese hasn't wavered, even he couldn't ignore what Clark is bringing to the league: poise, precision, and a style of play that's winning over fans and veterans alike. No, this wasn't just a compliment, it felt like a moment of truth. When Shaquille O'Neal, someone personally and professionally tied to Angel Reese, openly praised Caitlin Clark as the real deal. It signaled something bigger than admiration. It may have marked a shift in how the entire sports world talks about Clark, because if even Shaq is acknowledging her rise, who in the media can still question her impact? From the start, everyone knew Caitlin Clark would draw eyes to the WNBA. After all, she turned women's college basketball into must-TV. Fans packed arenas, networks cleared airtime, and suddenly, people who had never followed the sport were tuning in. The only real question was, how quickly would her influence translate to the pros? The answer: instantly. The Caitlin Clark effect didn't ease, and it hit like a tidal wave. Not only did her fanbase show up, they multiplied. Her transition to the WNBA didn't dim the spotlight, it turned it up. The numbers make it clear. All 12 of the most-watched WNBA games in 2024 featured the Indiana Fever, drawing between 1.2 and 2.3 million viewers per game. Across platforms, that's not a bump, it's a broadcast revolution. To put it into perspective, the average NBA game last season brought in about 1.56 million viewers. Meanwhile, the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, also powered by Clark's presence, shattered expectations with a whopping 3.4 million viewers, the highest since the league's inaugural season in 1997. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA new era, she's defining it, and with even her biggest rivals turned believers giving her credit. The narrative is no longer up for debate. She's not just here, she's changing the game. No, Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game, she's changing the numbers. In 2023, the Indiana Fever played in front of crowds barely topping 4,000 fans a night. Fast forward to now, and they're leading the entire league in attendance, drawing nearly 177,000 fans so far this season. That's not just growth, it's a surge. And more fans mean more money for the WNBA. Clark's influence reaches far beyond the scoreboard. Her popularity is fueling sold-out arenas, boosting television ratings, attracting sponsors, and driving long-term business growth. As she collects awards on the court, she's also building serious momentum for the league's financial future. And guess who's paying attention? Shaquille O'Neal. Sure, he's a Hall of Famer and a beloved TV personality, but Shaq's also a sharp investor with a talent for spotting the next big thing. And in Caitlin Clark, he sees more than a basketball prodigy. He sees a brand, a movement. Shaq knows today's athletes aren't just judged by talent, they're measured by influence, reach, and market value. And Clark is checking every box. She's not just drawing fans, she's transforming the business of women's sports. So when Shaq talks about teaming up with the game's biggest stars, he's not just being a fan. He's thinking like the businessman he's always been. And in Caitlin Clark, he sees a future that's bright and bankable. Next
Start a business. The way I learned business was a gentleman gave me a book, The Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. When I was reading it, wasn't familiar with anything, but it was a chapter that really piqued my interest.
Be real. If you're still doubting Caitlin Clark, now's a tough time to hold that view. She's playing like an MVP, pulling a once struggling team into the playoff race and pushing the Indiana Fever to the top of the WNBA's revenue charts. Caitlin isn't just the best rookie, she's the heart and soul of her team, and everything around her is starting to fall into place. That's why the early critics have gone unusually quiet. The same voices that questioned if she could make it in the pros or claimed Angel Reese was the better, either backtracking or staying silent. Why? Because denying Caitlin Clark's impact isn't just unpopular anymore, it's ignoring the facts. And on social media, that kind of take gets shut down fast. We're witnessing a clear shift. Big sports media, analysts, even former doubters, are coming around to one undeniable truth: Caitlin Clark hasn't just met expectations, she's smashed them. Besides a handful of diehard skeptics, the consensus is forming. There's a new star in women's basketball, and she breaks every stereotype people had. After lighting up college hoops and turning women's basketball into a national craze, Caitlin has stepped up again. Now, she's commanding primetime attention across the country. Women's basketball is no longer the underdog it's must.
She's leading the league in assists. Since July 10th, she's the second leading scorer in the NBA behind Asia Wilson, averaging 23.8.